Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Core Class Megatron from Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron Trilogy. First thing I want to mention is the artwork on the card. Very, very cool. You can see the Nemesis actually crashing in the background, which is pretty cool. Megatron's kind of charging forward. And then you can see him here on the little bubble on card. Go around to the back. Robot mode, tank mode, in this kind of cave painting motif that they have going on here. So pretty standard packaging. And I will say, just off the bat, I know originally I said I was probably not going to pick up all of these core or Legends class, whatever you want to call them, G1 characters, but I have to say, they've kind of been crushing it. The engineering that's been going into these has been very, very impressive, and they just showed off a core class Soundwave that's going to be coming out later this year. And the engineering on that looks absolutely amazing. So I've always been a fan of this size of figure because they're kind of fun to just pick up and fiddle with and transform back and forth. I just kind of felt like I already had a ton of Optimus and Megatron and, you know, the various G1 characters that they've done over the years. But these are kind of on a new level. So I'm here for it. I've completely 180'd on this. And I'll buy as many G1 characters as they want to do in this size class because, like I said, the toy engineering just every year gets more and more impressive. I mean, I've been talking about the, mini masterpiece factor as far as the Deluxe and Voyager class figures are concerned. And these guys are like mini, like, I don't want to call them masterpieces because they're small figures, but they're definitely very fun. And I'm really enjoying what they're doing. So if this is just going to become like a new subline where they just, start doing every single G1 character in this size class, flawlessly executed, then I'll be picking up just about every single one of them. So let's go ahead, let's get this guy out of the packaging, and let's take a closer look. Here is Megatron out of the packaging, and I'm just really impressed with actually how good he looks. Like I said, they're really crushing it with the core class figures this year. He looks really sharp. I mean, all the paint applications, this is all silver paint here on the chest, really nice Decepticon symbol. All of the molded in detail and paint down here in the abdomen. Even has the red on the side. I mean, look at that head sculpt. That is fantastic. The eyes are really painted red nicely. Silver face, silver head, all really, really sharp. He's got these shoulder pads here, which I got to be honest, don't really bother me because they don't hinder the shoulder articulation at all. They just kind of look neat. Now, he does have this kind of gigantic U tank tread piece on the back, and I'm not a huge fan of it. When I originally saw pictures, I thought it looked even worse. Having him in hand, it's not nearly as bad because these shoulder pieces kind of hide it in the robot mode, so you just have a little bit in the back here, and you don't really notice it as much. But I'm still not a huge fan of that, but that's really the only complaint that I have. And I mean, the transformation is fine, and it works, and you'll see that in a moment, but I'm still not a huge fan of that giant backpack, but it's not as unmanageable as I thought it would be. Also, he does come with a small accessory, a small version of himself, which of course he can wield, and should be able to be wielded by any of the core class figures, so if you want to give it to Soundwave or Starscream. But the other thing that's pretty cool is he does have two peg holes in the back here, and you're meant to peg it in here to kind of give him that classic gun barrel over the shoulder look that he is known for. And I just think that's a really nice little attention to detail that just really works. I like the look of that quite a bit. Articulation wise, head can swivel from side to side. You have a ball joint in the shoulder and a ball joint in the elbow. Now this hand also has kind of a wrist swivel, but it's really just for the transformation. You can see that this piece is kind of connected here to the this piece here on underneath the forearm. And the reason for this is that the fusion cannon is kind of bolted onto his arm. You cannot remove this. Now it does swivel around, which you'll see as part of the transformation, but it cannot be moved. So as a result of this, later on when we have to turn this, 180 degrees, we can't really turn this piece 180 degrees because the fusion cannon needs to stay out here on the side. And so that's why they have you turn the wrist. So I guess technically it's wrist articulation, but I mean, if you can find a use for it, go for it, but it's really just for the transformation. You do, of course, have a waist swivel here as well. Ball joint in the hip, ball joint in the knee. From the knee down is, I don't want to say a solid piece because there is some movement in here that you'll see a little bit later on, but as far as articulation goes, there's no There's no ankle swivel or anything like that, so as far as the robot mode is concerned, this is a solid piece. But still, ton of articulation, looks great. I love him. Here he is with Core Class Prime. I think they scale together pretty well. I think it's funny how they're all kind of perfect except for like one little kibble piece. Like he has this weird piece here on the back that I wish you could swivel around. He kind of has this giant U piece on the back. So nobody's perfect, but they're both pretty great. So getting to the transformation, I'm going to go ahead and remove the gun. If you have that pegged in, just put that off to the side. You're going to come over here and rotate the fusion cannon 180 degrees, and then you're going to rotate that wrist piece 180 degrees so that you can see that kind of covers up the elbow joint. You're going to rotate over here 180 degrees like so. You're going to kind of lift this up and kind of hang this forward over here like that. You can see that there's kind of a joint system in here so that that can clear over the shoulder pads. At this point, you're going to unpeg the shoulder pads and bring these up. Now you can see that there is, and let me get in here a little bit closer, a tab right there, and that's going to peg into that tab spot right there. So you're going to kind of bring this down and then tab this in, and you want to make sure that this is in as much as it can be. And then this, you can see that there's a large tab right there, and that's going to peg into the side of the fusion cannon right there. And then you're also going to peg this tab in to the bottom of the forearm right there. So it's kind of a twofer as far as pegging this in and then bringing this down and pegging that in. So then you want to kind of just make sure that that's all straightened out as it needs to be, and then you'll bring this in and it kind of just naturally stops about there, and that's kind of the front of the tank mode. Then you're going to come down here, rotate the waist 180 degrees, and then you'll see what I meant earlier when I said that there is some movement here in the legs. This is actually going to open up. This is going to fold around. Now you can see there's kind of a little tab here, and that's going to tab in here, while there is a tab spot right there, which is going to tab on right there. So you're going to kind of bend this until that snaps in, and then this will snap onto here. There we go. And then we're going to do that again on this side. There we go. And this thing is being a little wonky on me. I feel like this usually, there we go. Okay. So there's pretty much your tank mode. And for some reason, this doesn't always want to go over all the way, so you kind of just have to mess with it a little bit. But you take the tiny Megatron gun and you plug it into the front of the barrel there, so that's kind of your tank turret. Now the nice thing is this can spin around because it has that waist articulation, and you can actually move this up and down a little bit. So you have a little bit of tank movement there, which is kind of nice. You don't have any wheels or anything built in, but you do have some nicely painted silver tank tread there. So he's not bad. He kind of just has his feet just hanging off there on the back, but not a big deal. And I do appreciate that you can actually get some movable tank turret action there. He's a pretty cool little tank. So Core Class Megatron is actually a lot cooler than I expected him to be. I actually really like him a lot. My only complaint is the giant kind of tank tread U backpack piece, but it honestly integrates decently well. It doesn't like 100% hang back there. It kind of clicks into place and it's pretty tight against the body. Plus it has a place to peg in that gun there, which I really like that aesthetic of the over-the-shoulder cannon. It kind of is, you know, hidden slightly by the shoulders there. So it's just kind of this little bit back here. It's not that bad, honestly. I saw pictures of it and I really thought it was going to be terrible, and it's actually a lot better than I expected. Having him in hand, he's actually a lot of fun. I love the color scheme. I love the paint applications. Articulation's good. Transformation's pretty fun. I'm still not 100% at transforming the arms into the turret. It always is a little bit wonky, but over time I should get better at that, and honestly just kind of fiddling with it a couple times, and you know, you'll get better at that too. So I really think this guy's worth picking up for $10. I feel like you can't go wrong, and I'm really having fun amassing this G1 collection of Core Class figures. So far we have Optimus, Megatron, Starscream, kind of Bumblebee if you bought that one from the Bumblebee collection that came with Spike, and we're going to have a Soundwave soon. So, you know, go ahead and throw us a Prowl, throw us a Ironhide, Wheeljack. I would love to see him in Core Class. I think that could be a lot of fun. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Who do you want to see next in Core Class for these G1 characters? Who's your favorite? Let me know. I'm sure Hot Rod probably won't be far behind her, and I feel like Grimlock's got to be next on the docket if they're just kind of running through the evergreen list of their G1 characters. I feel like, you know, Optimus, Bumblebee, Starscream, Megatron, Grimlock's almost always next, so we'll see. But let me know who your favorite is. Who do you want to see? Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.